What is up, guys? Welcome to Man with Sone Thasi. Today I'm sitting down with one of my good friends, one of the hood mornings where when I need anything or any advice that I can be able to hit up. Manene, can you just give us just a high level introduction of who Manene is?
Yeah, man. First, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
And I have to give you props. This is a good initiative.
Mm.
These are the conversations that I feel that we need to start having, to help each other, basically. We're not all perfect out there. And I think if we hear each other's stories or experiences, however it is, somehow, we can change something somewhere.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. Thanks, man. Yeah. So, Manene, that's my name.
Yeah.
I'm from Stexbraid, and I was born and bred in Stexbraid. I also have a home in Kofimbaba, that's where my father is from, so my roots are also around there.
Yeah.
But my life, the people I grew up with and everything I know really is in Stexbraid.
Yeah.
It's a small town next to the border of Lesotho and the Free State.
So you're just in between Lesotho and South Africa?
Yeah, kind of thing. So back in the day when it was still Transkei, it was this island. In fact, there was a border between it and the Cape before you go to Transkei.
I see.
So you literally have your passport stamped in Transkei, which is Herschel, and Herschel has a town called Stexbraid.
Yeah.
And you would cross into the Cape, another stamp, and then before you get to the Transkei, another stamp, and then you get to the Transkei on the other side, another stamp.
Jeez.
Basically.
Yeah.
So that was the case back in the day in the old Transkei, but obviously that changed. Now it's the whole Eastern Cape.
Yeah.
So Stexbraid is in the Eastern Cape.
Cool. So now growing up, basically, my whole life, I spent most of my teen or my boyhood life in Excelsior, which is a very tiny town outside of Bloemfontein, right next to, I think most people know Tabanchu, but Excelsior has got such a rich history. There's even a book that's written, Madonna of Excelsior.
Yeah. By Zeximda. He's from
It's from Stexbraid.
Yeah, he's from Stexbraid.
Yeah. So the guy wrote a book about Excelsior, which is like an amazing, rich history book. But Excelsior is this small town. So I've always grown up as a Kasi boy, you know. So just growing up as a Kasi boy, I don't know Stexbraid, like I've never been there, but I know a lot of guys that come from there. So
are they good guys?
Good guys. I mean, you're one of them. It's always good guys that are very grounded. And that's one thing I love about most guys that grew up in small towns is that we know who we are and we're not even apologetic about it. Like we don't pretend I'm from here. So every time somebody asks me, so where you from? I'd be like, I'm gonna say Excelsior. They're not gonna know where it is. So I'd be like, I'm from Bloemfontein, Free State. Like, to get the conversation down, but I'm actually from Excelsior. So growing up in Excelsior as a young man, right? I mean, there's so much that was happening, and at that point, Excelsior was so big to me. Like now, when I go back, I'm like, this is a tiny town, but at that age, it was so big.
It
is very tiny. It's like the town is literally just one street.
Tiny,
But like at that point for me, it was just this massive place and there was so much going on. So growing up there as a boy, like I just want to speak about, to begin with, your upbringing. What was most things that you were doing today as a young man?
Yeah, look, I'm from a farming background, and most of the time I was either in the fields plowing stuff or being a shepherd, cows, sheep, goats. That was my life as a young boy. And so much that, I missed out on a lot of the bad influence, if you want, or at least peer pressure or whatever it is that young boys do.
Yeah.
Because I was constantly busy. We were kept busy at home, So that was my life, and it had benefits though, and the benefits really were strong values and principles. As I grew, up, I realized how much of that background and how much of that foundation, I really depend on.
Yeah.
I still do to today,
Yeah.
till today. So that was my life as a young boy. Yeah.
Yeah. So growing up, like, who was your role models as a young boy?
Yeah. So I never really thought of this role model thing when I was younger. It didn't exist to me, but yeah, I think most of us don't really know that it's something that one needs to have
you
when
need
you
to
are at that
look
age,
up, or you don't even know you have it, but you just look up to certain people.
But I looked up to my brother, and my brother we were very close. When I was younger, still good, and he was a very smart guy. I believe he still is, and so he used to really be kind to people, and used to have friends that were really also, they shared the same values, man, and I used to enjoy hanging with them, and I looked up to him a lot when I was younger. So that's one thing that I can think of when it comes to maybe looking up to someone
else. Yeah, for me it was slightly it was the same but slightly different, because of me, I didn't know at that time I actually had role models or father figures I was looking up to, because I grew up with a single mother.
Yeah.
So my uncles were around. I remember like one of my uncles was one person that I actually looked up to. But overall, I looked up to like celebrities on TV and 50 Cent.
Yeah.
That's why I grew up like liking hip hop.
Hit
him up. So I grew up liking hip hop and just wanting to wear grill on my teeth and stuff, and that influenced the type of a young man that I was becoming. And I think like as fathers, sometimes they do not understand, or us as fathers at the moment, probably we understand that, but fathers don't understand how important their presence is to their young male. Like
so basically, media was fathering you somehow.
Exactly. Without everybody else noticing that I'm actually looking at 50 Cent as a father figure, because there's no father.
When he did not have a father himself, and he was struggling and his own struggles.
And I'm looking at this guy, but he's also struggling, and I cannot actually be like, okay, this is the person I should be looking up to. But I'm looking at him like, I like this, I like the way he's doing. So I start doing the things that 50 Cent is doing, but I'm just doing it out of there's no one who's giving me proper construction. So what view, how did you handle peer pressure at school?
I think because of my values, man, and my principles, and the way I was brought up at home, I really never experienced peer pressure. Even if I did, it would be for that day or whatever it is. But I never really allowed it. At least my values did not allow it.
Yeah.
Or the principles that I had did not allow it, and so I missed out on it. Somehow. If I did, it's something that I didn't notice. But I think my values played a very, very strong role there.
How important do you think education is to like boyhood? Because a lot of boys now are going like, well, this celebrity left school, they didn't, so I'm just gonna bounce and do my own thing as well. But how important do you think education, or the full education till grade 12 is important, is to a boy?
Yeah. So the truth is, we're living in a developing country with with emerging markets, if you want. So it really warrants education. I know it is a system that is subjected into us in terms of doing the whole 12 years of it, and then going to varsity somehow. I get that can maybe change somehow, but as it stands, since it's not changed, it's very important. You have to really have knowledge somehow to be able to do something so you can sustain yourself. So I think it's quite important to be educated. If you don't want to be educated to go to corporate or work for someone, then educate yourself to be able to handle your books for your business.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Or to be able to do something with your hands.
Yeah.
But education remains important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. So you went to what we call hostel. You went to a boarding school.
Man.
At what age did you go to a boarding school?
I think I was 11.
Yeah.
My first boarding school was in Ruval.
Yeah.
Primary rural school. You know, I think it was just, it was 95.
Yeah.
A couple of us, about 20 or so, were the first blacks then.
Jeez.
And, you know, obviously the English was not that great.
Yeah.
Since we're from...
I feel as was
you know what I mean, yeah. But we're not that bad, but it was also not that great.
Yeah.
The teachers, they were very, very patient with us, and in terms of how we structure our sentences in English, and so much that even today, I'm not quite sure, you know, how that really happened, but it happened.
Yeah.
The first year we got them, you know, they chose a head girl who was black.
Ooh.
And a head boy who was black.
Yeah.
At the time. You know, I was very strong.
And this is 95. This is 95. Like early in
95.
Jeez.
We did not vote.
Yeah.
For me, I don't remember voting for anyone at least.
But they put them up, yeah.
And that was a strong statement from that school at the time in terms of acceptance. So that's when
just being diverse,
I started. Then I moved to Wepener, which is not far from Rockville.
Yeah.
You know, where...
I know Wepener. Like, coming from History, you have to know this stuff.
It's just by the border of Lesotho also, next to Mafiteng.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was also there. You know, and the craziest things about it, even today, we laugh about it with my friends, is the fact that we're subjected to sleeping on Saturdays between 1:30 and 2:30.
That was control.
You know, we're forced to sleep because it's called quiet time. Quiet time.
Yeah.
You know, and being a boy from a village, to be forced to sleep during midday. When I'm from a household where my uncle's values, where he would say, a man never sleeps during the day.
Yeah.
But here I am. I'm forced to sleep during the day. If I'm not sleeping, I get punished. So
you had to change your mindset.
It never changed.
Yeah.
Even today, I don't sleep during the day.
You can't because
I can't.
The home that was embedded.
Yeah, it was embedded. The man does not sleep during the day. You know, I couldn't. So who would rather be there? I remember when I was like grade 11 and 12. My roommate at the time, my best friend Zuko, and a guy from Tepo.
Yeah,
from Botshabelo. Tepo had the CD.
I know Botshabelo very well as well.
Tepo had the CD that was given by his girlfriend, Mariah Carey, I think. Yeah, in the Mariah Carey CD.
So he was that guy.
A butterfly.
Yeah.
You know? And we used to listen to this thing. We used to listen to the CD, you know, it was crazy. But yeah, man, it got us through the quiet time.
Because you had something to do. So being at a hostel, I'm gonna call it this because we grew up calling it hostel. Yeah. So being at a hostel or boarding school and growing up in boarding school, would you advise, like you are at a point where fatherhood and everything is affecting you, like would you advise a parent to take their child to a boarding school, and what is the disadvantage and advantages of it?
Yeah. So again, me, if I was my parent at the time, I would not take me to boarding school.
Yeah.
At that time, I don't know how boarding school looks now.
Yeah.
You know, but I can tell you about that time. At that time, I wouldn't. There was a lot of bullying at that time in boarding school. Right?
I know.
I was never really subjected to it, funny enough, but I saw a lot of bullying that happened, you know.
But were you always this big and strong?
No, Chief. You know what? The craziest thing is that I was one of the shortest in my class. In fact, when matric, I think I was like the second or third shortest.
Yeah.
You know when you take photos, class photos?
You always that
from
guy.
short to tall.
Yeah.
But I was the guy who was always sitting down in the front. I was very short.
Yeah.
You know? But no one who was in my high school or my matric class at least is as tall as me or big as me now. Funny enough.
Oh,
they're all short.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because you're a very tall, muscular dude.
I know. You know. So I would not necessarily take my kid to boarding school based on my experiences. What I saw in boarding school. Although I do understand why parents take kids to boarding school, they've got their own reasons.
Yeah.
But I also feel that what we're also missing is that You know, when you are not in your kid's head, somebody else is. And that's exactly what happens in boarding school.
Definitely. That is powerful. Facts.
Yeah. So what I feel is that boarding school, you can either come out good or you can either come out bad.
Yeah.
You know, those who are fortunate, I think I was very fortunate to come out good. You know, then they come out good. Those who are unfortunate, then it affects them very negatively. You know, bullying is very bad. You know, and bullying can really, really kill one's confidence. I think some of the people that have gone through it, it really messed them up for life. You know what I mean? So I look at those things and then I think, you know what, it's better to always have your kid at home and be able
to come back to your
and able to mentor them. If you're a mother to a boy, or a mother to a girl, or a father to a girl and a boy, you're able to mentor them. You're able to, you know, to share your life experiences. You know, so I think those things are important. The personal touch is always important from a parent's perspective, I think. Yeah.
So this is one thing that Tina, especially as African people, we always ignore, and it's sort of taboo to even speak about this with your parents, your brothers, or whatever. You only speak about it with the people that you trust, like growing up. Mjolo, at that age, you know, 16, and it happens, but we don't ever want to speak about it. So from a boy's perspective, how would you advise a young boy to deal with Mjolo and in school at the same time, in management of time?
Yeah, well, I think looking at remembering my mother would say, don't even do it. You are there to study, right? So
this doesn't even exist. You mustn't even try this.
So I was I was privileged again enough to be in a school where they managed our time. You know, and this was the benefit about the boarding school, I guess, where, you know, we had study time.
Yeah.
We even had checking time, Chief. You know, we were given time to go see our girlfriends.
Yeah.
You know, I can't speak for those who didn't have. I don't know what they did during that time.
But me can't.
So we were given time. I remember, I think it was around weekends. It was around between 4 o'clock and 5, if I remember correctly, where you would have this teacher who would monitor, you know, you guys so that you don't go to the corner.
So you're not doing anything funny.
The boarding school master also would do it sometimes. You know, so we had that. So we didn't necessarily have to manage time for girlfriends. They managed.
So it was managed for you. You had study time, and
you had, you know, all that kind of thing. So that was privilege. You know. So I can't imagine the people that did not have the same privilege of what happens in their lives.
They don't have this specific timetable that says, okay, you study.
Now
this
go see your girlfriend.
Quiet time. Now go see your girlfriend. I think
they were very close to also tell us that bring a flower.
Buy a PS, I love you and stuff. So I think it's a very nice thing to have, like that sort of structure, especially when somebody's young, because you embed it into them. So as they grow, they know that there will be time for work, there'll be time for my woman, there'll be time for me to have to rest, there'll be time for these other things. But like, if you were to sit across your younger self at the moment, just to finish off, at that age, at that boy stage, what will be your advice to yourself?
Have a plan, you know what you're going to do after high school, you know what you're going to do in your 20s, you know, just at least the early 20s, after high school in the early 20s. So that would lead to basically thinking about your dreams, what you really want to be, who do you want to be, you know,
which university you're going to study at, apply, plan,
you know
everything.
You know, plan. That's what I would say to myself. Plan, think about these things. You know, don't take them for granted. Think about them. Plan, you know, at least if you have that foundation, you know, you then are able to start from something.
About you moving from the school that you were in to actually Vista. What is Vista? Don't really have much information about it. But also I remember you saying that for you to change from what you wanted to become, it was literally in a queue where you decided, okay, I'm not going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be an IT guy. So what was the process of you going from high school to Vista?
So Vista now is yours. Let's start right there.
Oh yeah, I see.
So I moved from Vista also to UOFS. Anyway, I just moved from high school, and here I am. I have not applied.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, I went to Wits, I went to University of Pretoria, and I couldn't find this law that I was looking for.
Yeah.
And at the time, IT also in all these varsities. I was not thinking IT, but I just know that it was also full. The applications were closed.
Yeah.
So I went back to Bloom, and Vista, there was Vista.
Yeah.
I started in UOS first,
I see.
and UOS was closed. Right?
It was full, basically.
It was full. Closed, no applications. So when Vista was open. Vista, they were open. The only thing that they had left was information systems. They had law.
Yeah.
I think at the time LLB, that's what it is, degree. And there were some other courses, I think it was marketing and all that kind of stuff. And I was not a marketer, so I was not looking for that.
Yeah.
And here I am in this queue, and me, I just want to be the next George Bezos. Basically, I want to be this lawyer, killer lawyer kind of guy. And people are talking this IT, man, and they're talking about, the internet, Google, and the nice things.
Future stuff, like
Future
things,
stuff, But all these people are in the queue. So basically, they knew better than me. But maybe it's because my focus was never on that.
Yeah.
So that's why I never really put my mind into it. But right there and there, I thought, no, man. Maybe let me try this thing.
So you're like IT.
So if I was in this queue, I just moved. And it was moving fast. The IT queue was moving fast. The law queue was very slow, and there was a lot of us.
Yeah.
This one was moving fast. And I was panicking also because I thought applications are going to be closed. I'm going to have a school. This queue is moving fast.
So like the next thing that's coming, yeah.
So I went, application accepted. As for the studies, the rest is history there. So that's how I got to IT.
Yeah,
basically.
I see. So, you're studying at Tech now. So I want to get this just to help somebody who's probably in matric at the moment. How important is applying and knowing probably a couple of schools that you want to go to?
It's very important. It's so important that I feel that schools, government schools, especially government schools, they need to do more for kids to go to open days. I'm involved in an NPO now called Fun Learning for Youth, where we take these matriculants to open schools ourselves to be exposed to careers out there.
Yeah.
Right. The school that I was in did the same for us. Funny enough, we went to UOPS. We went to at the time TechOps, which is Central University of Technology.
CUT now.
CUT. And we went to those open days. I still did not apply. So that was responsible of me, I guess. Or maybe lack of knowledge of how to go about it, because we went to these open schools and we were told what to do, but then there's nobody behind you.
Pushing you and saying, yo, you need to
apply. That's where this
thing
for me comes in.
Yeah.
And they were not there.
Yeah.
You know what I
Because
mean?
you're at boarding school and you can be able to do mostly whatever you want. Yeah.
So it's very important. It's important to take kids to open days so that they know what's out there. So they understand that they can have options. I think one of the things that is depressing kids that are in matric these days is not knowing that they have options.
What's next?
The pressure of just mathematics and science. I think the world is in that space now that everybody's literally talking maths and science as the most important thing.
Yeah.
Which is, they are important, but you don't have to do maths and science to do well in life. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So it's very important to answer your question. I think open days then gives you a chance to know what other options are out there, or maybe even find out what is that you're good at.
Yeah. So now you're in Vista.
Yeah.
Vista is in Bloemfontein.
It's in Bloemfontein.
Yeah. So now you have to go live in Bloemfontein.
Yeah.
Were you already fluent in Sotho at that time?
Yeah, I was good in Sotho at that time.
So you're already...
my high school was in the Free State.
Yeah.
What school of Weapon? It's in the border. Just awfully Sotho also by my Iten.
Yeah.
Yes. So we had a lot of Sotho people
I see.
in our school from Lesotho.
From directly
Directly
the origin of Basotho.
Yeah. So from directly in Lesotho. But I'm from a town where Sesotho is also what we use in sixth grade.
Yeah.
Even in my village, we have a section for Sotho people,
I see.
Xhosa people, and Hlubi people. Hlubi people are in the middle.
I see.
So it's Sotho, Hlubi people, and then it's Xhosa people.
Yeah.
Xhosa, with Hlubi is Xhosa also, but you know, people are usually, they'll have Xhosa and then they'll have Hlubi, and then, you know, but though we speak the same language, but Hlubi is a bit different. If you really listen, you'll hear that the words are different than Xhosa words. So I'd learned Sesotho from back home.
Yeah.
And also I had privilege to serve as a shepherd with people from Lesotho.
Okay.
You know,
So
yeah,
those
people are brilliant.
Yeah,
You know, and,
amazing shepherds.
yeah, you know, the craziest part about it and what I've learned from the people that came from Lesotho and came to work for my uncle, they were so clever in how they dealt with animals. It's something that I think we don't necessarily have as South Africans.
Yeah.
You know, they have stories, you know, that when I listened to their stories, I realized from a very, very young age how privileged I was.
Yeah.
Versus where they come from and what brought them to South Africa at the time, you know. But when you listened to them and really, really listened to them, you know, there was so much brains,
That,
you know.
so they had
the way
parables, basically.
the way they grow up, you know, it is so. Maybe I could say it's so Lesotho because I've not seen it in South Africa, but they grew up in a very, very African way, in a way that, and I mean, helps for them. You know, there's things that now during COVID we're starting running for them.
We're going back
you know,
home now.
For them, you know, these people, it was literally what they used. You know, they don't go to doctors, they don't do. So I learned a lot from them.
Yeah.
You know? So for me, it was a privilege to really work with these people when I was younger.
Awesome. So now you are at Tech. So for you coming from a boarding school, and now you are at university. Where did you stay actually when you're at university? Did you stay with some uncle, or were you also going into boarding or res?
No, so I rented.
You rented?
Yeah, and shared with some friends also.
Okay.
Flats, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, I never stayed in areas.
Do you think like your experience with boarding school helped you be okay with just taking on the university life?
Yes, it did.
So that's one of the benefits of it.
Yeah, because I found my place to stay. My mother was not there, or my father. I found my varsity myself. I did everything.
So you're already independent.
Yeah, I was very independent at that time. So it was easy for me the transition was easy.
Yeah.
It's not as if my parents, you know, took beds with this. I see it all
with
this baggies, big baggies, and there's like beds,
full of everything,
fridge,
two-plate
stuff.
stove.
None of that for me.
Yeah.
You know, everything I got to bloom, and you know, I had to find stuff for myself.
Yeah, I remember when I came to CPUT, I also sort of came alone, but my sister was already there. So it was a bit of an easier transition. And also I didn't come back from a boarding school type of life. So being by myself was the most exciting thing. Me having my own room and doing anything whenever I want to do it was the most exciting thing. Was the one thing I was like, I have to go to Tech, or I have to go to university for. But I also did not apply, which was one of my biggest mistakes, because I had to look around, but I knew I wanted to do mechanical engineer because of my uncle. But during that course, I actually changed into IT as well. Yeah. But thinking about just like your life at Varsity, how did you manage? Because at Varsity, now there's more studying and there's more focus on what the amount of time that you spend on books. Yeah. But now there's also a whole lot of beautiful young females. So how did you manage that time between, all these things that are entertaining, and also you're free now. You can essentially be at a club up until whichever time that you want to. So there's a whole lot of clubbing. There's a whole lot of Mjolo. How did you manage and your time management at that time?
Yeah, look, so I had a goal, and my goal was simple, was that I need to get my degree.
Yeah.
And Darko Blue, I wanted to get my degree. So what I did most, I partied a lot also, trust me. But what I did most was I never left the campus without studying.
I see.
So I was that guy, if my classes end at 12, then I would say the next 2 hours, I'm going to be there just studying.
Yeah.
Which, if you really think about it, is this boarding school method. This thing was taught in boarding school.
Yeah.
So it was
the studying time was already embedded in you.
Yeah, it was embedded in me. So I'd take 2 hours almost every day, not every day, but almost every day. Especially Fridays.
Yeah.
Guaranteed on
That's why
Fridays.
everybody's going
I
out.
would take 2 hours study because I wanted to get to my flat and not be disturbed, even if the guys were chilling, maybe having drinks, whatever, and not be this guy who's going to be sitting in the room trying to study, but there's no
where everybody
because I
else is
understood
up,
that we were sharing and we were young, man, and there was this also young freedom, if you want, and a lot of fun we had. You know what I mean? And where the ladies are concerned, that too, it was there,
Yeah.
But I had my goal. My goal was my degree. You know what I mean? And I didn't let things mess around with my goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
I
important.
my principles, as I said even earlier, my principles really have helped me, and my values to really always keep grounded and make sure that I achieve whatever I want to achieve. Yeah.
Amazing. So you're in Bloemfontein and you essentially, you're managing your time, you book time well, but also you a varsity boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think in any way your upbringing had to do with you eventually choosing to do IT? So basically, did the course that you did you coming up as a young man, did the influence that you were around have anything to do with who you became?
No. Well, not IT was not at all, because it didn't exist around me.
Yeah.
As a young man, you know what I mean, as a young boy, if you want. So it didn't exist around me. It's something that I chose, and I decided I'm gonna go for it.
So it was something new, and then
It was new.
Jeez.
I was learning, and I was, but when I was in high school, I'd also done computer studies. So DOS.
Yeah, DOS. I know. DOS is it's one of the oldest languages ever.
Yeah, and end user computing. Wow,
Yeah.
Study. Basically, this is a mouse.
Support.
Yeah, this is a mouse.
Things,
and this is a monitor. And so I'd already done those things.
Yeah. So for most of us, now I had a Pentium. I think it was Pentium 2 or 3. At my house, like my mom bought me a computer for my
and you guys called it a box.
Yeah, a box. Like
I know.
she literally bought me one of those computers with a big thing. So when I got to tech, I was already familiar with Microsoft and things like that. But for somebody who, let's say someone is coming to tech and they want to do IT and they have never actually encountered computers and things like that, is it still possible for them to actually take the course and learn from their first year and still be successful?
It is very possible. One of my friends did computer science.
Yeah.
And he had never seen a computer before that.
You mean like during matric and during his first year?
His first interaction with the computer was at VAL. He went on to have distinctions.
Jeez.
And it was not just his results were so good. We chat today, we talk about it. He had never seen a computer before, so it's possible.
Yeah.
If you put your mind into
if you put your
mind into anything,
so it's good.
It's all cool. It's also
So
still school.
at that level, like for me, on a sendela, I'm not gonna say how much, but it was quite good money at tech. So what was your financial education, or how were you dealing with money at the time at tech? Like, your registration money, your rent money, because you were renting.
Yeah.
How were you dealing with it? And
So I never got in this fast, right?
geez, yeah.
So my mother used to get paid. My mother was a teacher. She
Yeah.
got paid on the 20th. So every month on the 20th, I got my money, for rent, for groceries, for transport. That was it. I'd make sure that rent is paid.
The first
I'd make
thing.
sure that groceries are bought.
Yeah.
And keep the transport money. One of the things that I think then went on to happen for me is that as I was studying and I'd pass well, then UOFs would then give you money. If you got distinction, they would give you a certain stipend.
Yeah.
Back. So, and then I'd keep that money, and use it for personal stuff, whether it was a couple of drinks now and then, friends, or by myself, nice stuff, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's how I really got extra money,
Yeah.
to do school, and you also give you a certain stipend.
So, being at university, one of the other things is that, well, now I grew up very different because I was a bad boy at university. So one of the things is that you have to deal with competition, and you have to deal with kids. Like, somebody's mom is a teacher, somebody's mom is a doctor, and when now my mom just works at a hostel. Somebody's mom actually doesn't work at all, so you depending on NFSs. So at that level, how do you deal with the different dynamics where I'm wearing cheap shoes and when you're rocking Nikes, and we're friends? How do you deal with competition? How do you deal with the different personalities? How do you carry yourself?
So, where clothing is concerned, the brands, if you want, at the time, obviously I could not afford, or my mother could not afford. I had three other sisters and my brother who also studied.
Yeah.
So I never really put my mind into it. I took whatever she could afford, and that was it. So I never had some competition going on that stuff. But one thing I can tell you, I was always neat. She always bought nice stuff for me. That was neat, that was good and looked relevant at the time. And I appreciated that. As for the other social stuff, I really didn't care much. I was that guy really who, when I had $50 to share with friends and have drinks, I was very transparent with it. When I didn't have it, then I was literally chilling, flat and watching TV. I was really that guy.
Yeah.
I think I remain the same person even today. I never really put myself in other people's shoes in terms of what they have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess it's privilege of being brought up well in terms of principles or values that, what, your time will come.
Yeah.
If you
definitely.
if you put your mind into it, your time will come. So it was always in my head from a very young age, that kind of principle.
Yeah.
So I was never under pressure to compete with anyone. Yes, when you're young, there are days where you see other kids, enjoying things a certain way that you cannot afford, or wearing certain things, and it does hit you.
Yeah, it does.
But at the same time, if you accept the situation that you're actually still privileged, the fact that you are in university, then things get better. For me, that was what kept me going. I'd say to myself, you're still privileged. You're in university.
Yeah.
In fact, you're even living in a flat. You've got so much going, and there's so much ahead.
Thank you.
So I'll keep going that way.
Jeez, nice.
Yeah.
So time management, money. So now, lastly, how did you transition from university into you getting your first job?
Yeah, so I passed my degree,
Yeah.
and just like a lot of us, we want to start working. We don't know where that's gonna come from.
Yeah.
We've got a degree, and I think I was, just like a lot of us again, I was looking for internships, and I left Bloom. I went to live with one of my aunts in Joburg.
Yeah.
And
So you didn't come directly to Cape Town. You like
no.
left Bloom. You like Joburg.
Yeah, I went to Joburg, and as I was in Josie, she then found a job for me in a shop. I recently put a post at TBT a few weeks ago about this.
Yeah.
For me, it's an incredible story for myself. I feel that, part of me was molded there.
Yeah.
Was molded in that store. The store was in Cross Trainer in Manene. So she was like, Chief, you need to keep busy.
Yeah.
While you're still looking, you need to keep busy.
So basically, here you are.
Yeah.
You have your degree. You have qualified.
Yeah.
And there is nothing. And you're like, your aunt is like, look, you need to, as you are, you need to start here. And then you take a job in it. What are you doing in the store?
So I got in there, and in the store, obviously, it's salesperson, and because I had IT background, I became the salesperson guy that is also really also interested in fixing things that were, technical, be it software that you want to install, whatever it was. But basically, my role was sales.
Yeah.
When I got in there, the first day, my confidence was so low. You know what I mean? Because I told myself I belong somewhere else.
Yeah, because you have the degree. So
I have a degree.
I need to be in an office sitting somewhere.
But it was one day. One day. When I came back the next day, I told myself, if my situation is this right now, I'm going to make the best out of it. I'm going to kill it. My guy, we had targets there. We had targets. I remember I used to smash my targets monthly. I used to be top of the list of the people who have made their targets monthly around Johannesburg. There are a couple of other stores. I was always in the top 5.
Jeez.
I earned, I was on 1.8 a month, but I used to earn incentives that would take my salary to 5 grand a month.
Yeah.
Based on me reaching my targets. Pushing. It became a norm to reach my targets. I was so good at it became a norm. Yeah. So I quickly just developed into this thing and adopted. I was so good at it.
Yeah. So for somebody who, let's say I'm qualified, right? I get my degree, I get my diploma, I get my high certificate.
Yeah.
Obviously, like you were saying that you felt like you belong somewhere. Once you get this, you already have an entitlement. Like, I deserve a job because I just did this.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody who has completed their degree or their qualification, but there is nothing else available within the level that they're supposed to be, but there is something available here?
Yeah. For me, you have to keep going. You have to keep busy. I really do believe in that principle. You have to keep busy. Maybe it's because it worked for me.
Yeah.
When I was at Cross Trainer, it was not only me who was there and had a degree. I met a friend there who's still my good friend even today, who at the time had completed his qualification as a journalist. Smart guy, very smart guy, and we were on the same boat. But there were other stores that had people, like me also. You know what I mean? Had degrees. They might not have been in the same store as me, But they also had visions of being somewhere else.
Yeah.
But they understood that they have to keep going, to keep saying. I was on the same thing. I would say that to somebody who's maybe just finished Varsity, that while you are still apply as much as you can. Apply yourself to apply.
Yeah.
As much as you can. Find people that can assist you also, basically, and ensure that they can they can then maybe refer you to whatever's out there. But keep going somehow. If it is a job at a store, take that job. It is a job at a municipality, whatever, man.
Keep busy.
Keep busy, because you're going to learn something. I take so much from my life at Cross Trainer today. So much. I think my adult life was actually, part of it was molded there. Finance-wise, how I handle money and how I respect people.
Yeah.
Because to make money at a store, you need to be able to speak to people.
Yeah.
You need to be able to treat them.
You need to be a salesman.
Yes, you need to treat customers with respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to be patient with people. So I learned so much there. I learned all those trades. The people skills, I learned them there. So yeah, I learned so much there. I took so much from that.
So
experience.
you at a young man's level, like what was your biggest, like at that stage, like what did you get yourself, if you remember, to thank yourself or to just spoil yourself?
Yeah.
Like what did you buy yourself at like?
While I was still Cross Trainer.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is that I was actually last week.
Yeah.
I was cleaning my house and taking out my old clothes and stuff, taking them back home, going to give them away, and I pulled this my pair of Stan Smith, brown suede Stan Smith.
Yeah.
It's a classic chip.
It is.
The first shoe. In fact, the first thing I ever bought with the money that I earned, it was that Stan Smith.
Nice.
I bought it at the Cross Trainer, obviously with staff price.
Yeah.
And I could not let it go.
Yeah.
I have not given it away.
Yeah.
It's back home now in this city. I am going to refurbish them. I'm going to make sure somehow I renew them.
And frame it, put it somewhere.
I don't know what I want to do there, but even if I'm wearing them, but those I'm not giving away.
Yeah.
So that's what I did with my, I think my first earnings.
Yeah.
I bought myself a pair of Stan Smith, suede brown, proper.
So how did you level up from, okay, you qualified, you're doing something that is less than your qualification, you have humbled yourself, you're doing well at it, but you obviously can deliver more. How did you transition from that to the career that you actually studied for and the career that you actually wanted to be in?
So I kept applying.
Yeah.
So
you kept at it?
I just kept
whether
at
you
it.
get no's, whether you get, you just kept at it.
You know what I mean? I just kept at it. And I then one day, after 1 year, 8 months, since I passed my degree, that's long, I got a call for an internship.
A whole year and 8 months.
Yeah. So I started my career in software testing as a test analyst.
Nice.
So that's how I got to IT. That's how I started my career in IT as a test analyst. Training, I was did training for like a year, 6 months to a year. Yeah. And then to the clients, and from there on, I went to a couple of clients in Joburg that because we were contracting for the organization that I was working for then. Yeah. Big organizations that we were contracting at, and then they got a very big contract here in Cape Town to start software testing in major corporations here, And I was one of the people they decided they want to bring down here. That's how I got here. That's how my career here started also.
Yeah. Do you think the push that you were doing as a salesman helped you, or you being put down to like, okay, you're gonna work at a store even though you have a degree? Yeah. Do you think it helped you appreciate or in any way appreciate you starting your first job as a tester?
No, it did, because my first salary as a test analyst was 2.5.
Yeah. Jeez. Well, they get way more now.
No, I know. I know they get like 18 grand.
They get way more now.
I know that.
So at the time, you just like, I'll take it.
So
it was even less than what you were getting actually at the store.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, the most important part was I was finally getting to a space
Were you doing what you
that,
studied?
you know, I want to be in.
Yeah.
I had no idea what software testing was. No idea. But at the same time, I was happy that I was actually getting my foot inside, you know, the IT environment. And I knew from there on, it's going to be up to me how I then go on, develop myself, and be whatever I want to be
Within
this
the space, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So all you wanted was an opportunity. Let me in.
Yeah, look.
And I will take it from there.
One of my friends, who was also there with me in that academy, he had quit a job at a casino for ways. He was earning 20 grand.
Yeah.
You know?
Jeez.
To
Good money.
just get his foot in IT for 2.5. We chat about it today. You know, and we laugh at it and we say,
sacrifice.
You know, it was the best move of
That
our
he
lives.
made, yeah.
You know, because he could have earned that 20 grand for the next 5 years. You know what I mean?
But with IT.
So we went in there. The first few months, it was this 2.5. Anyway, fast forward a year later, we were already on that 20 grand that he had left.
See.
Meaning that after that,
you're gonna obviously go way past that, yeah.
So we look at it and we think, best move of our lives, especially for him. And I mean, to quit 20 grand for 2.5, you know, that's a sacrifice and a half.
Even 5 grand, even any amount of money that you're gonna be like, well, I'll take it. It's still a sacrifice. But like you said, you always have a goal. You always driven by a specific goal. Yeah. So, when did you get your first car?
So I got my first car. I think it was in 2009.
What was it? You still remember?
Yeah, I do. I mean, how can I not remember my first car? I love that car so much. I bought it in Durban. It was a VW Polo TDI, 1.9 TDI. You know?
Yeah.
Leather seats.
Yeah.
Grey leather seats.
Did they deliver or you went to fetch it?
Well, I went to fetch it. They were going to deliver it. But because I was so excited,
like, I'm getting it.
I'm going to get it. So I went to pick it up and I went home with it in the Sinke. Drove from Devon to Stexbraid.
Yeah.
That was a car and a half, man. I look at it now, I see people still driving that car, and I think one of my biggest mistakes was to sell that car. That car was proper.
Yeah.
That car was proper.
How was the feeling?
Man, you know, I think if you grow up in a household maybe where you don't get, you know, chances to drive, you know, where you're not exposed much to cars.
Yeah.
And when you first buy your own car, and the feeling is just crazy. I can't explain it.
It's priceless.
It's priceless, you know what I mean? Because I remember driving this car from Durban and to Harry Smith, down Bethlehem, you know, training Bloemfontein, N1.
Beautiful places as well.
It was just, the feeling was just crazy. It was just amazing. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this thing had so much power for me at the time. It had so much power. It was the sound it made on the road, you know.
Yeah.
So I was excited. I was very excited. Yeah.
So for a young person, if I'm in matric, grade 11 at the moment, and I possibly want to get into software development or IT, what could I be doing at the moment besides making sure that I apply, making sure that I choose certain universities?
Pass your maths.
Pass your maths. Focus on your maths.
Pass your maths. Yeah, I wouldn't lie to you. Just pass your maths. You know, and obviously, since you said apply, but pass your maths.
Yeah.
You know,
and make sure you do pass your matric as well.
Pass the whole matric. Pass your matric, but do well in your maths. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Do well in your maths. You need to do well in your maths to get in there.
Yeah, you know, like when we're young, we like even when you are at college or varsity, you always think that what's happening now. Like I remember there's a point where I was looking at things like as they're happening right now, instead of looking into the future. If I had looked into the future, I probably would have seen this whole goal. But at that point, I was just looking at things just yeah, like if then you can't really study properly. If something is happening at home that has to do with money or in your money, then you can't really focus on your books properly. Like, what advice would you give to somebody who is at tech, that's probably going through a hard time? What is a hard time within a relationship, within themselves, or within like family issues or finance issues, for them to just keep on pushing and know that there's a bigger thing ahead?
Well, I think first things first, we need to acknowledge the fact that being able to be in a university is privilege, right? It is privilege. There are a lot of people who can't get there because they don't have the privilege.
Yeah.
Now, for you to then stress about things when somebody has sacrificed
For you
to be there, for me, I feel that that's a bit of a problem. I think that was one thing that was always also in my head, that for the fact that I'm here, it means that somebody is sacrificing something, which was my mother at the time. You know, for anyone who's in varsity, someone somewhere is sacrificing
for you
to
be
be there. The only thing you can do or you must do is to make sure you do your best
for that
and get out of there, you know, so that you can start your life, you know. So I thought that, you know, people who are in varsity or technical concepts still or colleges, they shouldn't really not worry much about, you know, the stress of the girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This should or the, you know, other social stresses, if you know, that are out there today. But just focus on your study, because somebody is sacrificing something for you to be here.
Yeah.
You know, somebody is making sure that you, at least they want you to have a future. Take that opportunity. Take that opportunity, run with it. You know, yeah.
So for once you start working, right? Is there any way where you could, because we're always looking for opportunities. We're always like, yeah, I work, but you know, my 9 to 5 is not paying me enough. It's not doing this. For you, is there any place where you feel like, this is what I would do to maximize or to add more to what I'm getting from work?
Yeah. So there's always things to do, right? But
I know you're also a DJ.
Yeah.
You're such a developer and a DJ.
Yeah, that's a hobby of mine that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And it started as a hobby. Luckily enough, it has gone, you know, to give me a few bucks there and then. So I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a business actually for me.
Yeah.
So that's really great for me.
Yeah.
You see, I think when you have a job, you know, be it this 9 to 5 we're talking about, there's also a lot of appreciation there. We need not forget that. You know, we need to appreciate the fact that, again, that remains a privilege. You know?
You're able to help your family. You're able to have money to money. Yeah.
Able to earn money, able to work. There are a lot of struggles these days. People can't get jobs. So you need to really appreciate your job. Yes, some jobs I know they can really, really strain people. And some jobs are not, people don't enjoy some of their jobs, you know, which is unfortunate. You know, but it remains a privilege to earn a salary monthly.
Yeah.
Now, there are other, obviously, like you asked, there are other avenues out there that one can make money. I mean, there's investment. You know, there's property. You know, there's investing in equities. You know, if you have a hobby, you know, you exploit it. There's businesses. Some people start businesses, be it a career business, whatever's out there. You know what I mean? That is not really going to take much of your time from your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You know, or the choice is to be brave. You know, and look at a business that you think you can actually really make money and exploit and go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Goodman, for me, just looking at you, right?
Yeah.
You own properties now. You own multiple cars. What would you say at this moment, at this peak of your life? What would you say success is to you, or a successful man is to you?
I think that success is, you know, is subjective. You know, for me, my success is I look at the chances I've had, I look at the privilege I've had, and how I've used it to benefit me, or the chances I've been given, how I've taken them, you know, to my benefit and to make a better life for myself.
Yeah.
And most importantly, then I look at the journey of self-mastery, how I've worked on myself to be the man that I am today, and think the way I think, and be able to coexist with other people and love people the way I do, or want to help people the way I want to help them. That for me is my success.
Yes. Yeah.
And obviously, there's more I want to do with my life. There's more things that I want to, get to with my life.
Achieve,
and achieve and all that kind of
So,
stuff.
so you wouldn't base success only on being about money, about having properties in there?
No, I don't think it's really.
Cars.
Well, look, for me, at least, it's not necessarily about that. I feel that happiness, in a certain way, maybe so for some people that the monetary value or material things would equate to success, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And of course, with me, when I look at it, the things that I've achieved in my life that are materialistic,
Yeah.
I see the success. But for me, they're not really the things that
Define
hit me hard and
yeah.
define my success.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My growth, yes, career-wise, my growth in other materialistic things, I look at them and think, what, I've done well. But I look again at this foundation I've just told you about. Like, I look at the opportunities, I look at the privilege I've had, and how I've used it and how I've taken those chances. Yes, some I've missed, but I look at those and I say, the reason I have these other things and I've achieved A, B, S, C, and D is because I've taken these chances. But most importantly, I had a lot of support, I had privilege, man.
Yeah.
And I was lucky to also have a bit of mentorship as I was growing up. So those are the things I look at and say, you know what, because this mentorship, I took it at heart and I used it somehow for myself. There's chances I've used them for myself. And the privilege that I've had, I've used it properly for myself. This is success. Then you can then now get to a point where you count and say, okay, fine, this is the success. What is the success? Then you can talk about these materialistic things.
Yeah, I see.
You know what I
I
mean?
see. But they all evolved from the
this
man
foundation.
himself.
Yes,
Yeah,
the man himself.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The man himself.
Beautiful. So speaking about the man himself, like what would you say to you? Because there's some funny things that you see, like you would see somebody who's very old doing something that you in your head, like for me in my 30s, I look at them like, I wouldn't necessarily do that at that age because I feel like I've outgrown that stage. So I just want to find out for you, when it comes to being a man, what encompasses a matured man to you?
Yeah. Again, even that one for me is also very subjective because we're different people, man, and we've got different values and we love different things and we see the world differently and the visions are different, the goals are different. You know what I mean? We then don't do the same things.
Yeah, because we're all working towards different things. Yeah,
we grow differently.
Yeah,
and so my values might not align with yours, and when they don't align with yours, I might think you are immature.
I see.
You understand?
I see.
Vice versa. I think it's really people that are comfortable with themselves. People that wish others well.
Yeah.
That want to build others.
Yeah.
People that don't only want to take from others, but also want to share.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, that's really maturity. People are taking down that ladder, man.
Yeah.
Because then it speaks to how much one wants to develop, and have a better world. At the same time, people who are not doing these things that I've just mentioned, I don't necessarily think and look at them and say they're not mature or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do recognize that our values are not the same and probably cannot coexist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay to be different, and you just choose the certain circle that you want to be around. And
yes,
the best advice you could give to your younger self, what would that be?
Know yourself, understand yourself better, what you really want to do with your life. Exploit the values that you were given back home. There's so much in doing with the values that I have and the principles that I have. But I would also say to a younger me, master yourself, understand yourself deeply, because your happiness then will come from a place where you really know yourself. When you know yourself and what you want and who you are, you then get to a point where you make the choices that are aligned to your values. You know? That's what I would say to myself. I'd say focus on mastering yourself. Focus on exploiting those good values that you got from home and principles. You know, understand them deep, you know, break them down, you know, because you then get to that point where you're happy.
Yeah.
And when you're happy, you can do anything in the world.
Yeah.
When you're comfortable with yourself, when you're not allowing the world to influence you, but you are the person that is deciding that you're going to influence the world, you know, you then become the strong person and you do things as per you.
Yeah.
You know, I now, for example, peer pressure for me, something that doesn't exist
at all, yeah. Because
You know
you've
what I mean?
learned to control the external things, yeah.
Competition, I compete with me.
Yeah.
I compete with me. I don't compete with anybody else. In fact, the people that have done well, I congratulate them, you know, and make no mistake, you know, when they've reached heights that I've always wanted to reach also, I always think that I really want to be like this guy. I want to get there too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's not competing.
Yeah,
But
that's being
I'm more
inspired
saying,
by
yes,
by
I get inspired.
Yeah, your peers and people that are around you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So master yourself, understand yourself, know what you really want to do with your life, you know, be happy, you know, do what suits you, what you think is good for you. You know,
For me, it's one of the most hectic conversations to even have as men, because it's so deep and there's so much pain within it, and we have to have the conversation because we are in South Africa, right? So for me, I just want to understand from Manene's point of view. You can speak about everything or anything around this subject, but what is your take on gender-based violence?
that one, man, is a heavy one right now. I think in the last few years, we've seen cases really spike, like they're going up very high. But actually, they've not been going up. They've been up.
They've been up. It's just
You know,
now
it's just
we're
that
noticing.
now we're noticing. People are talking about it. As much as I'm aware that gender-based violence, you know, is also about men, you know, being abused also. But at this point, you know, the high numbers are women and children.
Yeah.
You know, men abusing women and children.
Yeah.
You know, that's not right. I think for me, the women part of it, you know, starts from home. I think these are the conversations that need to be had at home. Be it if there's no father figures, uncles need to come in. Brothers need to come in, cousins need to come in. If there are father figures, fathers need to really think about, you know, how they build their sons. You know, they need to build their sons to be leaders that can love women, appreciate women, and see women as their equals. You know, I think that's where this thing needs to go. I get the fact that there are calls for government to do A, B, and C. Yeah. But government can only supply certain resources to this thing or programs, you know, but the action must come, it can only really come from people, and people are from households. Yeah. So it's rooted within the home for us to start the conversations and the discussions from home. Yes. You teach a young man to respect a young girl, you know, you teach an older man to respect an older woman. Yeah. You know, so those are things, those are conversations, and we need to conversations to have, and we need to call each other out. Yeah. I think men, we really like also playing victims. You know, we're always very defensive about this thing. When the conversation about women being abused and everything else, we are quickly to also come with excuses that we are also trying to show that, you know, women are also doing they're doing, So we kind of are taking whatever we're not listening. We're not listening right, you know. And we're missing the real point. We're missing the real cry. Yeah, you understand. Last year I was very privileged to have a conversation with women in the organization that the NPO that I'm involved in fly about the same problem, gender-based violence. You know, from that day on, I started listening differently because I got to really understand what they were saying. You know, and one of the things that the women said was that, for me, I thought that it never left my head, was that you are not a woman. You know, you have no fear of being raped.
You don't.
You can walk at night at 11.
Yeah.
You have no fear of being beaten by a man because they want to have sex with you. You know? You have no fear of being told that you are not good enough because you are a woman. You know? And then when I started listening and really hearing those things, then I understood the privilege that we have as men versus women.
That we're not noticing.
You know what I mean? The real things that, I mean, women walk day and night with fear. You understand? And we take advantage of that fear.
Yeah.
Most of the time we know the fear.
Yeah.
And we take advantage of it. We exploit it.
Yeah.
And, you know, those are the things that need to change. You know what I mean? But I think for me, to summarize it, we need to listen better.
Yeah.
We need to really listen to women when they say that, you know, it's not right.
Yeah.
Or when they say no.
Yeah.
We need to understand the no. I feel like we're not really getting the no. You know? I mean, having an excuse of saying that she said no, I thought she was just saying no because she was, you know, having fun. Those are not good excuses anymore. So those are the no's we need to listen to. And we need to ask questions. And consent, where is consent, is something that also I feel that we need to really, really educate our young brothers.
About
or our peers, man, our friends.
Everyone.
Everybody needs to be educated around consent. You know, I know that a woman can be into you.
Yeah.
I know that.
But still not want to go that far.
Still not want to go that far.
Yeah.
And still not want to go that far. Or a woman can be into you and still want to go that far. But then as you are going that far, they realize, you know what? This is not the right time for me.
Yeah.
You understand? We need to realize those moments and respect those moments. You know, but most importantly, the abuse part of it, I think for me, it's the most disgusting part of it because now, if you are a man and you're putting up on a woman, and you know that physically you're built to be stronger than them, then it means that you're a boy. Basically.
You're actually weak. Yeah.
You're a boy.
You're actually weak. Definitely.
You're actually weak.
Yeah.
You know. So maybe we need to also realize those things and think, you know, what makes us strong? What makes when I say Taz, Sone, you are a man. What is it that is a man about you? You know, what is that is a man about you? And if you then do that retrospective and you know what is a man about you, and you then need to always hold yourself onto that towards women. Yeah,
you're a protector.
Yeah, protect them because that's men. We equals to women. We're supposed to coexist. You know, but we also need to appreciate the fact that yes, we are built to be stronger physically, and which means that we can use that to protect or help however we can, you know, in where they can't reach, because women do so much for us that, you know, we cannot do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That is it from us, and I do understand that you bought us a present.
Yeah, I mean, I brought you guys something from my hometown. This is by Mageza.
Mageza, yeah.
So his real name is Lonabo Siboto. What I like about this gentleman is that he is not waiting for opportunities to come to him. He is going for
creating them himself. Yeah.
So he has created this brand, Mageza's Corner, and now he's gone for the sparkling wine.
Yeah.
You know, so I thought I must bring it to you guys.
It looks beautiful. It's a very nice package.
Something to enjoy.
Yeah.
At some point. Yeah.
Okay. Do you wanna pop it?
You know what? Let's do it.
Let's do it. I got different champagne glasses here.
Yeah.
So let's pop it and see what happens.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I think you will definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is on Insta. He is on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also somebody he frequents Cape Town a lot also. And I can also find that information in terms of how does one get hold?
Yeah.
You know, how do we get it? This thing? Yeah.
Now we have to. Yeah. And this is to the very first episode, the very first video that will be out of Man to Man of Sone Thasi. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some fun, and I hope there is enough that you guys are able to use from our videos. Remember, we are here to just help each other and to make sure that we learn from each other's mistakes and each other's success.
Yeah.
And yeah, peace out. Well, guys, that was it from me, Sone Thasi. This is Man to Man. This was awesome, man. Thank you.